pronounce your second name?
That they are trying, however, it is kinyanzui. You have to tighten where your tongue to be able to pronounce. But if you find it difficulty, I'll appreciate if you call me kinyanzui. Majority call me so. I appreciate. You are allowed.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm hoping that I'm audible enough. So I'm presenting a journey for Makueni County Referral Hospital. I think as Charity mentioned earlier, we are one of those labs that we started the journey more than 9 years ago. And the journey has not been easy. However, we appreciate, as the Bible says, there is always God of a second chance, whom I believe is also God of the last chance. Because at one point, Charity told us that this is the last chance I'm giving it to you. And we assured her that we have the last bullet. And we worked so hard. Allow me to donate like a minute or so to appreciate the entire Makueni County Referral Hospital Lab Department, as well as the hospital management. We have really worked hard for this journey. At one point, officers were leaving the facility at around 2 a.m. in the morning. And they are reporting back to around 5 or 6 a.m. just to work on this. So we highly appreciate your efforts. As you can see, these are iconic celebrations that we have in that shall be even in our books at Makueni County Referral Hospital. Having achieved this ISO certification, we can begin the journey. So just to bring you up with the speed about ISO 15189, it's usually international standard which is specifically meant for the lab. And it basically outlines the requirement for the quality and also competency of the staff, ensuring consistent meaning it's a continuous activity, and also to produce not only accurate but also reliable test results in our department. And it encompasses basically two main aspects. One, one of those two aspects is the quality management. Here we talk about establishing a systematic approach to managing processes, documentation, and also continuous improvement. Yes, it's true today we have achieved ISO 15189 as a lab, but this is just but the beginning. And we as the department and as an hospital fraternity, we are so committed to ensure that continuity and the sustainability, because the hospital is very supportive and has put all the measures in place to ensure that we meet the target and we continue improving on technical and also on management projects. So on the technical competency, basically it is going to look at the lab test, which is through the proper equipment, calibration, method validation, and also staff training. And this is recognition globally, as St. Teresa Kirwa had mentioned, that if you are done a test at St. Kirwa and you are coming to Makueni County Referral Hospital, we don't need to repeat that test because St. Kirwa is ISO certified. Equally the same, if a patient is taken from Makueni County Referral Hospital and is taken to another facility or even abroad, we are in the map and the globe that the quality results we are producing are reliable and the patient does not need to be tested again in any lab. So this is an achievement that is truly iconic in our department. So this basically is a recognition globally, which is a mark of excellence I've mentioned, also demonstrating the lab commitment to the highest standard of quality. So we really appreciate the work that has been done so far. We have timelines that we have been working and milestones that we have really put in place as we achieve this journey. As I've mentioned, the journey began back in 2015. So you can imagine 9 years down the line, working on ISO 15189. I think we can get a clap for having achieved after 9 years. I won't mention the other labs that were in the same cohort, but others met within a year or so. But we staggered behind, but at long last we have achieved. So the journey started on 2015, but we have achieved the ISO 15189 this year 2024. And in this presentation, basically, to go with the speed, I shall focus on the challenges because it has been a journey. And the reason why we have delayed for those 9 years, basically we had some challenges that we encountered on the way. And also there are factors that has contributed to those delays in the certification process that I'm also going to mention. And of importance to mention in this presentation is the significant benefit. The ISO brought a lot of benefit that I'm going to share, but just a few because they are so numerous that the ISO has brought not only to our lab but also as a hospital as a whole. So this just audit that was done back 2019, right? Yes, 2019. So we were doing audit after audit, and after this audit we got 2 stars. You can see some of the parameters we are scoring as low as 4 out of 14, like management reviews. So we had a lot of challenges, knowledge gap, among others that we are going to highlight. So as a result of this, we could not achieve, but then at that point we sat down as a department. And then we tried to recollect our minds back again, because if we were at that point, why are we not getting ISO and where we should be then? We could not get a valid reason. And then we sat down as a department and tried to reason together. And then we worked to the speed. So in the next slide, we shall see the challenges that we are facing on the way, and the reason why we are getting 2 stars, and even another audit we got 0 star. So on the next, now these are the key challenges. They are just but a few, but we were able to address them at long last. So one, there was a knowledge gap. It was new to us, and then there was a knowledge gap. Few people were being trained. There were TV problems. As you know, everything that is new has some opposition. So people were not aware really what is ISO. And then this caused a lot of delay for people to understand the importance and how they can implement the ISO. So there was also limited resources and the budget constraint in the facility. Resistance to changes, you can see support, because this was something that was so major in our department. Because staff members requiring additional time for training, mindset shift, attitude change, we had to do a lot of training and illustration of how the importance of the ISO 15129. And also there was also unforeseen disruptions in workflow due to emergencies or operational challenges, transfers among staff, some changes that happened in the department, and all this contributed to the delay for those 9 years. Next. So we had to overcome the challenges basically, because if we wanted to achieve them, we have to meet the challenge and also have our ways to mitigate and also to overcome those challenges. So these are some of the approaches that we put in place to ensure that we overcome these challenges. One, we had a comprehensive training programs that were supported by AMREF, but initially they were supported by BD. So this training, they were regular, they were updated training on all the staff. So as I've mentioned, earlier on, we were getting like 2 staff to be trained. But then we realized if we want everyone to understand the whole process of ISO, then everyone has to be hands-on. So we brought everyone to speed. We had a meeting, discussion, CMEs to ensure that everyone understands the meaning and the importance of ISO. Of important to mention also, we have a dedicated team. So we sat down as a team, as I mentioned, and we worked on ISO as a team collectively. And then we tried to lobby for resources. We had discussion with the management of the importance of ISO and the areas that we needed their support. And at this moment, let me appreciate them because they were really supportive to us. Every time we had a discussion on something that we need their support, they really came out bold, because at the end of the day, we had the same goal and objective of achieving this ISO. And also we had a continuous improvement, that's through regular internal audit, whereby we could identify areas of non-conformity, and then we could form a team and work on those non-conformities to ensure that we close the gaps that has been identified, awaiting the final audit to be carried out. Next. So, as I mentioned, we have benefit that we have gotten as a department and also as a hospital after getting this ISO as LSTs. So one for the lab, and also have categorized for the lab and also for the hospital. For the lab, we have enhanced quality, which is now improved accuracy and reliability of the test results. And every patient that is being tested, yesterday I was talking to one of the patients, and then they were telling us, of recent, they don't know what has happened to the department, because the results they are getting, they are accurate, they are getting timely, and then they had positive remarks for the lab. And then back in my mind, I realized it is just because of the ISO, because earlier on, we were being mapped as a lab whereby the results are getting, misplaced. Patient has stayed too long. There were a lot of complaints. But now we appreciate the effort, and also that's why the patient are able to give positive remarks. And also we have operational efficiency. We have streamlined the process and reduced errors. And also, I appreciate the hospital management, because now we are going to automation that has been launched already. And even as I speak this afternoon, it is working the hospital as a whole. And also now for the staff competency, we have higher levels of staff training and the competency, because every staff we are doing a competency assessment. And before we allocate them duties, we ensure that they are deemed competent to run any test in the department. So these are some of the benefits. However, on the next slide, there are more for the hospital. You can go to the next. So for the hospital, we have improved patient care. This is achieved through better diagnosis, getting accurate results, reducing the hospital stay of the patient, because they are getting proper diagnosis, and even the management is becoming easy. And also we have a good reputation and a credibility because of the achievement that we have achieved. And also there is a regulatory compliance, whereby there is easier compliance with the national and the international regulations and guidelines in the facility. So these are case study of some of the success stories that we have in the hospital and as a department. Before and after ISO 15189, for instance, we had a limited working space. Charity can attest to that, and also those who have ever come to Makueni. The lab was so small. I remember one time I was requesting Charity to give me additional refrigerator. And then she was like, I know your lab, where are you going to put the refrigerator? But then with those challenges, then we sat down, we took the management, and then they extended the lab. It's not that I have not taken a pictorial for the whole lab, but the lab has been extended with ACs fitting in the lab. When you get into the Makueni County Referral Hospital lab, you feel like you're in another world. The AC are working properly, conducive environment. We have comfortable chairs, and the staffs are willing to work extra hours, which is an achievement we have got after ISO. And also we have, initially we had no controlled access. Nurses could come direct to the lab. And then when Charity, I'll be referring to her because she was the first member in the department. At one point we were telling her now, how shall we be able to restrict the nurses to come to the lab, because it was their routine. And you see there is ambit, which is usually next to nature.